Greetings, gang. How you doing? Adam Rafferty here, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to conquer feedback when you plug in an acoustic guitar and amplify it. Okay, so before that, please go ahead and click the like button on Facebook, or head over there and click like. Hit the subscribe button here and hit that little notification bell so that you know when I put up new videos. If you've had any experience with feedback yourself, if you've had any fixes that you'd like to share, or just want to comment on the video, I'd love to hear from you. So be sure to leave a comment below. Alrighty, so I got an email from a student of mine from studywithadam.com. His name is Graham. I'm going to read you his email because maybe you've been in this same position. Dear Adam, I played a hotel last night, big room with hardwood dance floor. I didn't have the chance to sound check before the gig. When I started, the guitar sounded thin and a bit empty, so I pushed the volume on the guitar but got a horrible howl on the bass notes that made me just want to constantly mute the bass strings. I was aware that about 25% of my brain was thinking of the guitar and 75% was thinking on how to get a sound I could live with. Not ideal when playing. So I'm going to address that right now to help you if you're having a similar problem, because this is something that comes up once we amplify an acoustic guitar. Feedback happens when you're using some sort of usually microphone or an acoustic thing like a guitar, but usually it happens with a microphonic element. So I have a microphone in this guitar, and if the microphone starts picking up the amplified sound, it causes a cycle because the guitar, just the plucked string, is certainly an okay volume. Then the microphone puts it to the amp, it makes it louder. Then that comes back into the guitar louder. So then it's going to push out a louder sound, and this cycle just builds up and up. It multiplies. Okay, or maybe it doesn't multiply, maybe it adds, but it gets worse and worse the more it feeds back. So what I'm going to do right now, in case you've never heard lovely feedback on an acoustic guitar, I'm going to turn the microphone all the way up on my Maton guitar, and I'm going to hold it just in front of the speaker of this AER amplifier. This would happen with any guitar and any amp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the amp way up. I'm not even going to play anything. And you're going to see it should start howling pretty quickly. Okay, so let's take... Okay, that's extreme. That's an extreme version of feedback. But that can happen on a gig if your amplifier is feeding sound into your guitar. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about various fixes and ways to deal with that if that's what's happening on your side. All right, here we go. My first tip to deal with feedback is to try to get the amp to your left side or to the neck side. So if you're a righty guitarist, you want to be sort of looking down your headstock and have the amp on that side. That's sort of a quick fix that I used to do when I did gigs where I had an amp only, because if the amp is on the other side, on the body side of your guitar, it's closer to the pickup, it's closer to resonating the body of the guitar. So the first thing I suggest, get it to the headstock side. So if you have an acoustic guitar pickup system where you have two different pickups, such as I do, I have a piezo, sort of a magnetic thing under the bridge, and a microphone. You might find that the microphone tends to feedback a little bit more. Now I blend these, but what I want to do is I want to show you, I'm going to turn this up, it might feedback. Now, right now I've only got the piezo pickup on and the microphone is turned off completely, and I'm just going to kind of hold the guitar here. Now there's a feedback that's coming very slowly if you listen. Almost none, actually. Okay, so it's slowly coming. But now watch this. When I add the microphone, I'm going to crank the microphone. It might squeal. Get ready. It's probably going to, the feedback's going to come much faster. Now the microphone's all the way up. And now if I turn the microphone level down, see, it went away. So the microphone is the more sensitive part if you have a double pickup system. So one thing I'll do is I will start with the piezo as the basic signal, and then I will add as much microphone in for that nice airy touch as I possibly can. Now a really cool little thing that you can get at a music store that you may want to check out is it's a little black rubber disc. I don't know if you can see it because I'm holding it against my black shirt. Let me hold it up there. Hang on, there you go. It's a rubber black disc, very much like a cork that you'd have in a wine bottle, or actually something like more like you'd have in a coffee can. And this is called a feedback buster. And there's lots of different brands, but I think this is the original feedback buster. And now what this can do is it fits snugly in the sound hole, and it acts as kind of a barrier so that sound can't quite as easily get back into the guitar. It's not 100% fix because sound can still vibrate the wood of the guitar, but let's give this one a check. I'm going to crank the amp, and I'm going to crank the mic a little bit, and let's just hold it here. Let's see if there's a difference. Okay, it's coming kind of slowly, but there's not a lot of feedback. And if I simply leave the same settings on the guitar and take the feedback buster out, okay, one more time, put the feedback buster back in. It's staying still. See, it's not, slowly it'll feedback, but that's sort of, it's kind of like you're riding the brakes a little bit. Your guitar might not sound as rich acoustically because you're damping the top of the guitar, but that thing can certainly help. I do most of my concerts with a feedback buster in the sound hole. Okay, so if you're still having issues with feedback, even after having tried these tips, and this is assuming you're just playing a guitar and an amp all by itself, you may need to get a different guitar for the gig you're on, okay? So when I was playing lots of jazz guitar, drummers were loud, organ players were loud, and my fancy jazz archtops were simply the wrong instrument for the gig. They were great in quiet settings. So let me show you what I mean. You may need either a solid body guitar or something such as this. Now this is a Yamaha frame guitar. Now I hope the pickup works because I haven't checked the battery in a while. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're in there. It's not in tune. I bought this for travel, but this is for the sake of example. If I hold this, I'm cranked. Nothing is feeding back. I'm holding this, okay? If that was an acoustic guitar, this would be really feeding back. But there's no microphonic element. It's only guitar pickup. And I'll give you an example. I have another one of these that's a nylon string guitar, and I had to do a gig with a jazz group in New York City where they needed me to sound like I was plucking a nylon string guitar. And I knew that it would be a completely unforgiving situation, that the bass would be loud, drums would be loud. So I just used one of these things because I needed to use that to survive the situation. So if you got to get by in a loud situation, a less resonant guitar may serve you very well. So you may be wondering how guys like me and other fingerstyle guitarists can play concerts that are really loud, yet not feed back. So I'm going to explain that to you right now, and it's actually a solution that you might be able to use for some of your gigs, such as my student who was playing in a hotel. When I play concerts, and this is true for pretty much all the fingerstyle guys around today, whether it's Tommy Emmanuel, Richard Smith, Petteri Sariola, Michael Fix, all of us kind of do a similar thing. We go into an amp, such as this one, the AER, on stage, and we keep this at a very reasonable volume. But then we take a direct line, usually out of the amp or elsewhere, and go into the house system. The house system is a PA system that is usually up in the air to the sides of the stage, pointing out to the front of the house. And so the sound is filling up the room, but the signal's not coming back into the guitar, okay? Now, there may be floor monitors, and that can make a guitar feedback. So at sound checks, we sort of find the happy medium so that it sounds good in the house, and meaning in the house, the theater, and so that we feel good on stage. That's what sound checks are usually all about. Now, you might be wondering, how can you use that situation even if you're not playing big concerts? Well, there's a lot of really good small PA systems. Bose makes some kind of stick kind of things. There's a company called HK in Germany and in Europe. And so, you know, if you were doing gigs where you had to fill a room with an acoustic guitar sound, I would not recommend a loud amp next to you. I would recommend a small PA system where the speakers are up in the air, perhaps pointing away from you, and then you just have a little reference monitor so that you can accurately feel your way around the touch of the instrument and not miss little details. So that sound going out into the house will probably not feed back into the guitar. It'll be dispersed, and the audience or the guests will hear a great guitar sound, and you won't be feeding back. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has helped give you some ideas about how to solve the acoustic guitar feedback problem. Feel free to leave a comment below if you've got any questions or any tips that you'd like to share with the community. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. God bless.